today, if you're watching this, when it's around the time that it's coming out, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty stressful time because of election season and the election results. So, yeah, yeah. We all know I'm pretty political, so normally, like, I would want to come in pretty strong about my political ramblings on this situation, but at this time, I need more time to fully process and articulate how I feel about it. So I'm gonna do that in a different live stream. But you know I have thoughts, and so I said anyway. So fucking. But today what we're gonna do instead is go over do a quick review of the Raylee Casze situation because I did the two full ass replays. And I've done a few different live streams about the uh, messages I received. So I just really feel like, maybe there are people who are watching that don't know what the fuck I'm talking about if they only saw some of those parts of those videos or something. Maybe you don't know what the fuck I've been talking about when I talk about that situation. So I thought I'd just throw out a more recent recap of the whole situation because I don't think I've done that in a minute. Um, anyway, so we're gonna do that first, and then what we're gonna do after that in the main focus of today will be reading the book I wrote a few years ago. It's called 60-Hour Marketing Challenge. We're gonna do a live reading. And I wrote it with a focus for anyone in business, anyone who does marketing, and anyone who does music, particularly because I have a music industry study major, but also people with fucking just any kind of performance art based, anyone that's trying to, monetize in their situation is who I wrote this book for. And I wrote it a few years ago. And you can get it for free on my site when you join the contact list, or you can pay if you want to support me. You can pay for it in my online store as well, whichever you prefer. Um, and yeah, today we're just gonna do a live reading of it just to see if it aged well because when I wrote it, I was like, I didn't want to be too specific about things. There were some things that I was like, I don't even know if I should put this in here because I don't think it'll age well. But I did anyway because it was something that was really helping me at the time. And so I felt like that outweighed the risk. With marketing, there's always that risk. Like everything is going to eventually not. No, I mean, some things in marketing are long-term relevant, like it's the foundation. It's still relevant today, just as it was hundreds of years ago. But other things in marketing is just like, um, you never know, like when when it's gonna not be relevant anymore. So we'll see. We're gonna do a reaction to that, and so I feel like that way it'll give people who aren't interested in joining my contact list or reading who are not interested in joining the contact list or buying it or don't know someone else who has it. Or you can get it also from my affiliate program too for free if you're an affiliate. This will give you this avenue, just having this information because I do want it to be a resource, and that is why I made it. And so I do try to balance like my efforts with the content I put out. I really do try to balance like on one hand, you got to get paid for the work you do or you won't be able to make it, right? And so I do charge. But on another level, like I do try and do as much as I can for free because um there are just times in my life where I'm like if someone could just put me like on the right path, maybe I could be able to get the funds together to then pay them and I could, get my life together, right? And so that's why if it's like even though I could be doing better in business, it's just like I've made it this far. So if anything that I've done could help someone else at least make it this far, then it's at least worth putting out there, right? So yeah, we're gonna do those two things today. Before we start too, I am gonna be working on I'm gonna thinking of restructuring the live stream visually. I don't know, like I have ideas in my head for making it look different, but I don't know if I'll be able to execute it the way I want to, but we're gonna try something. So if shit gets fucked up visually, obviously not today, it's just gonna be per usual because I haven't put that effort in yet, but over the next 6 or so months, if things get changed around or if some videos come out even more fucked up looking, my bad, but maybe we'll get somewhere where it looks better. That's the goal, is to move somewhere that is more aesthetically pleasing with all of this. So, also, if there is anything you want to see in terms of like anything that I've been doing that you would rather me change the way it looks, let me know and I'll see if I can accommodate that. Alrighty, so I'm gonna roll my fucking intro and then let's do this bitch. Hi, my name is Lexi, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. Deafness runs in my family genetically. Speech is not fully accessible to me. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. Okay, so we're gonna first do the Casze Raylee recap. I'm gonna try and make it as quick as possible. So I've pulled up a couple of videos for this, and we're gonna be watching both of them at 1.5 times speed. So this video is linked in the description of the video that we're watching now, and it comes from ARFA 2022-1 or whatever. I don't know. Also known as Love on TikTok, and it was posted back August 31st, and so that was basically like within the first week of everything going down. And so this is just gonna be like, so more came out after, but what came out after this were just more evidence, and so if you want to know about more evidence and things and back and forth that came out, definitely, go check out the rest of my content. But I feel like just watching this part enough for the first week is enough to grasp a sense of what happened from the recap. You know what I'm saying here? And so we're gonna use this video for our recap. I'm gonna react and recap to tell what happened here. Unfortunately, it didn't come captioned for us, so that always sucks. We are watching it at 1.5 times speed. Okay, here we go.
Can't believe Cash even started a GoFundMe. Watch till the end for all the receipts.
So it's saying, can't believe that Casze even started a GoFundMe. Watch till the end for all the receipts. And on the first part, it's saying accusation that the wedding dress was stolen and that this is the bride, what a shame. And then we're about to get into the response, but before we do, I also wanted to show, I pulled up real quick what the reaction was. So Casze originally created a few different posts about this situation, basically saying that the dress was stolen, this was the bride, find her, and things like that was kind of like some of the original things that were said, in my opinion. And so and I'm actually, oh, you know what, while we're here, so I'm working on a video. I had mentioned before, that I was gonna try and get that video out in 2 weeks where I actually show like all of the statements from the summary presentation that I did. That is going to take me a bit longer than I thought, so who knows, you might get that by the end of this year, you might get that next year, I don't know, but it's coming, it'll get here when it gets here, okay? But real quick, let me show you the response to what happened when after Casze was like calling out Raylee. This is how the public responded. Attorney. And so let's see what the fuck is reported on regarding that shit here. Oh, and I'm watching this at 1.5 times speed.
Has made her FB private. She made a statement, and I quote, "My business and personal social media accounts are being targeted right now. Please ignore them. They are fake accounts, and we are taking action with our lawyers and the BBB. We apologize if you have gotten any offensive messages from these accounts. We hope to get it resolved soon." Her hair store on Yelp disappeared after thousands of people left 0-star reviews for her to pay. Apparently, her web is no longer accessible to the public for bookings. She is clearly removing herself from the internet. This is sad and not fair at all. At least explain yourself to the seamstress or clear your name. Don't just go rogue. I'm sure the seamstress will need her funds because I know for sure that dress wasn't cheap. What do you think? I'll keep you updated as this unfolds. There is quite a bit of conversation from users on her recent post. Check this out.
So the people were leaving comments that say things like terrible, what a shame, um, like that this is a theft and all of this types of shit. Like people were, really leaving all of these reviews, and these were all bad reviews left on Raylee Rukavina's page. You know what I'm saying? Where they're putting "don't recommend Raylee Rukavina." Um, and so like people really blew up Rayleigh's shit after this and was going after like everywhere Rayleigh's ever worked and all of these types of things. You know what I'm saying? To the point where like people that she used to work with are coming out with statements, and it was wild. So then Rayleigh came out with her side of the story and she started showing evidence, and it was basically like,
Hey everyone, this is Raylee. You've probably seen me all over TikTok, but now that things have calmed down a little bit, I'm ready to tell you guys the truth. The reason I haven't gotten on here and said anything is I was getting married and dealing with family being in town, friends, and trying to enjoy being a newlywed. The reason I'm speaking out now is I have found some professional advice, and I was not happy with Sendera starting a GoFundMe.
yeah, I've already done a full reaction to this video, so I'm not gonna sit here and watch it all again. I believe this is the first response that she ever came out with about the situation. And so I already did a reaction to all of this, but she came out
August 10th, 2024.
Whoops, I accidentally autoplayed it. She came out with the contract, she came out with everything. Um, with all the receipts, she came out with messages, she came out with photos of the dress discussing issues. Um, and so between this situation and between situations that happened with other clients with Kaze, public opinion heavily shifted after that. Um, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what happened with the whole Kaze and Rayleigh situation. Now, I covered this in over 20 videos, you know what I'm saying? And so, what I covered was not only the entire situation between Kaze and Rayleigh with their videos and all the content I saw about them as it came out, I also covered what came out about Kaze's former employees as well as other clients that spoke out from Kaze. And yeah, so I covered the whole situation, and everything I covered, I linked the sources to in the description of the video, and we just do a reaction to what's in the video. And you know what I'm saying? And so fucking yeah. So I got some messages from Kaze about my coverage of this situation, claiming that by me covering this situation, I am defaming her. What I've offered to do is I've suggested that I don't think that we should have communication because of the threat of legal action. I think just leave it to her attorney. And I think her attorney should just let me know which statements, you know what I'm saying, were defamatory. And then from there, we can look at, I can redo the videos. I don't feel like I should have to just not have covered it at all or take down everything about it. I don't understand what was harmful. But if, you know what I'm saying, like if she can show me where the lie was and where, things to correct. One statement that was she wanted corrected, the only statement that I got to correct was apparently there is no CEO, so we're just making sure it's known. There is no CEO. I didn't really feel like, because it was the employees who claimed there was a CEO, And so I didn't really feel like, that was like something where there was a source for that, right? And so what I've done instead is since then I've made statements saying, hey, there's no CEO in my videos. And then I also went through the description on those videos and updated in the description there is no CEO. And so, yeah. And since then we've been getting the word out there is no CEO. Got it. Um, Fucking, but yeah, right here now, I feel like that's a pretty good recap. Yeah. Playlist is linked in the description of this video if you want to check it out. So, moving on. Um, we're gonna check out 60-hour marketing challenge. So this is the ebook that I wrote. I wrote it in 2021. So yeah. It was the first ebook that I wrote for myself. I had written other ebooks for other people, but I was ghostwriting for them. And so this is the first one I did for me. And so I was really excited about that. It is 98 pages, and I know I'm calling it 60-hour marketing challenge, but I don't want to let that scare anybody. Like, I mean, maybe 98 pages is a lot to read. I'm not saying like it's all relative. Like if you think about like someone just came to you, be like, read 98 pages right now. You're like, the fuck? You know what I mean? But like also though, in comparison, this book is like over 500 pages. So you know what I mean? Like this is it's all relative. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have so it's not that big of a book, and it doesn't there's more pages. It's not that much. It's a there's pictures in here, there's some pictures in here, and there's like outlines, so it's like even though it's a lot, it's not, I don't feel like it's 98 full pages. Oh, this didn't download right. Well, that's unfortunate for me. Life is hard. Anyway, so yeah, we'll just go through it, and let's do this bitch. I'm gonna take it from the top. Sorry, I'm a little weird today. Fucking, okay. So table of contents, though, for those who do want to skip around, or the whole concept really, like, so I assign tasks, and I estimate that it could take you about 60 hours to complete the task that I assign. But obviously, I don't expect it to take you 60 hours to read a damn thing. Um, but yeah, so I fucking try to outline it with table of contents for if you need to come back. There are certain things where there's information that has updated since then. So what I wrote, like for example with the pixel, like what I wrote itself is likely not going to be enough to explain the full utility of how that would be applied now, but it's enough to point you in the right direction. Like, okay, if you know about this now, when you get there, you're going to be on the right path of getting to what to do still, if that makes sense. And I'm going to explain that a bit more. Like, for example, when it comes to Facebook and Google, particularly with Google tags and Facebook pixel, I don't know if I discussed conversion API in here because at that time it was still coming into play. And so fucking there's things where like I may not have fully explained where how you would use something now because it's shifted a little bit. So when I wrote this, we were still on universal Google Analytics, but now everything is on Google Analytics 4, for example. Um, you know what I'm saying? So there's just different updates based on things that have changed over time. But at the end of the day, the main point still stands for a lot of it, in my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna get going now. I'm sorry I'm so fucking weird per usual. And I do balance it. So I try to discuss like the technical side of marketing, the online marketing, the digital marketing, as well as the physical media, as well as the pitching, the communication, the theories, the strategies. And so I try to, as well as the planning and the paperwork, I try to put everything in there, that actually help me. Um, and so, yeah, let's actually do it. So for the beginning of the ebook, I started off with like a little graph, and the graph, it shows like major positives, lessons learned, daily goals, and weekly goals. And so the ebook introduction, it says, I have written this ebook for three kinds of people: artists, marketers, and entrepreneurs. I truly believe you shouldn't have to struggle to do what you want to do. I wrote this because most business and marketing content don't actually tell you how to use the theories given. This could have been written better. Life is hard. And then they say things like how to become a millionaire, get your parents to buy you a house, go live with your grandparents, and rent the house your parents paid for out to someone else. I feel like there needs to be more content that actually gives advice people can take action on, as well as explains using the methods. So that is my intention here. Income disparity should not exist. This is what I know to do about it. I don't cover how to make merchandise or create a service, but it's all about how to market your merchandise and your services. Going into full detail about what specific platforms to use and how to use them is beyond the scope of this book, with some exceptions such as for paid advertising and social media. I will let you know what you can do to apply to any platform that you might use for each topic. The reason being is that this book will be for many people along many stages of their journeys. I would get off track, need to write a whole new book to cover all of that. Please book a consultation with me at noadeafchild.com/bookonline, or email me if you need to know about any specific programs or how I use them. 60-Hour Marketing Challenge covers 50 marketing theories, summed up by these learning objectives. Marketing learning objectives: digital versus traditional, marketing the sales pipeline, contacts, contact list generation, prospects, market segmentation, marketing qualified leads versus sales qualified leads, direct, business to business, business to consumer, private versus street team when it comes to events, indirect, search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization, customer-based brand equity. By the end of this book, you might be able to write your own ebook about what these learning objectives mean for you and your business. And so, yeah, you might be thinking, what the fuck does any of that shit mean? Don't worry, I hope this book does a good job of explaining it. That's what the fuck I was supposed to do. Now, my grammar is not the best, and part of that is because I was just like, man, I just kind of manically wrote this shit and published it. I probably should have done a better job of taking more time to edit it, but also the reason that I don't right away necessarily fully articulate in the best English, I think, partly has to do with like how I process information and being stuck between deaf and hearing worlds. Even if I'm not a fluent signer, I'm not good in either language. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't I don't speak English well. I just can't communicate. Fuck it. But then I'm like, hire me for marketing. Trust me, I can sell shit. I just can't speak. I don't know. Or type or think. It's fine. Anyway, but then it says time for your first challenge. Each challenge will be formatted like this. Challenge introduction. Take out a piece of paper and write 4 lists for your marketing so far. Major positives, lessons learned, daily goals, weekly goals. Try to come up with at least 3 items for each list. Take some time to reflect on what you are doing to work on yourself and your marketing. Make sure to keep this. You will use it in the challenges later. This is the first of 60 marketing challenges, each designed to take about an hour. All of the brainstorming and anything you write down or type out from this can be used in your marketing plans. Save your work as you go along. The challenges connect direct marketing to indirect marketing. The idea is long-term sustainability without sacrificing short-term profits. If you ever need, you can always hire me to do something for you or to schedule a consultation. So, um, yeah, fucking with this, you don't have to spend like a whole hour on it, but I just don't think you should spend more than an hour on it because we got shit to do at the end of the day. And on this one, it's like you're just thinking, should you really spend a whole hour on thinking? Sometimes, yeah, man, you should actually. It's good to take that time to um, marinate on, what you want to do. And you don't have to only just sit there and think, but it's just about like, you can think about it while you do something else, but like it's just about, acknowledging that you've taken that space to do it, right? To consider it, right? And to write down things you consider. Um, and so then it says challenge objectives. By the end of this experience, you will know how to earn at least $4 for every one you spend. Plus, you will be able to develop streamlined promotion systems, optimized landing pages, conversion rates, search engines, branding elements, a marketing plan, financial reports, a lead magnet, social media, contact lists, A/B pitches. Wait, I meant to say A/B tests. My bad. I was reading two things at once. A/B tests and pitches. And then it says, I'm going to go over all of these challenge objectives in detail along the way. One of the things we will do over and over is work on pitch. Consider saving all versions of your pitch. You may find yourself wanting different versions for different purposes. It seems like a lot to do, but when you finally get that return on investment, you will find that marketing is well worth the effort. The ebook will give you challenges and topics along the way. I sum it all up and connect the dots at the end. My hope is to give you the structure to understand these marketing ideas on your own as you complete the task. I think when you discover how to use something for yourself, it is more valuable to you this way. However, every mind is different, and that is beautiful. So even if you are not quite sure how it all connects, just keep reading or get in touch. I love to talk about this. Make sure to have fun doing this. If you're like me, time will fly by. Let's get started. And then we're going to go into direct versus indirect marketing. Here's our challenge. Make a detailed list of each form of marketing you are currently offering and how much money or engagement you earn from each form. The point is to get you thinking about all the forms of marketing you have tried. Note what has worked for you in the past and what has not worked for you, so you can make decisions in the future about what is best for you based on your history. Direct marketing is face-to-face marketing, such as events or experiential marketing. Indirect marketing involves consumers at large, such as digital, billboard, flyers, radio, and TV. With direct marketing, you can earn direct money due to decisions made on the spot. However, you can also expect direct rejection. From indirect marketing, you are likely to experience a 10% engagement rule. Roughly 10% of people who engage in content will act on average. For every 1,000 followers, only about 10% even engage. If you ever get confused about the difference between direct marketing and indirect marketing, just replace the word marketing with money. That's actually kind of a good one, though. I don't know. Am I like vapid when I make myself laugh? I don't know. Anyway, well, that was past me, though. This is current me. Then it says, direct marketing gets you direct money, and indirect marketing brings you indirect money. Three forms of direct marketing are business to consumer, and events. Business to business marketing is when your job is to only talk to people in their role of working for another business. Business to consumer marketing is what most people think of, marketing that people see when they are making a personal purchase, instead of one on behalf of their work. Events can be private or public. In terms of marketing, anytime a team is sent into the field, it is considered an event. These are also known as pop-ups, what it can be. Experiential or field marketing is thought of like an event in order to maintain a sense of excitement and create the Jones effect. More on that when we cover 6 impulse factors. If you do events, keep in mind the concept of permission marketing in all aspects of your approach. 3 forms of indirect marketing are search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization, and customer-based brand equity. Search engine optimization is a long-term strategy for earning, why can't I speak? Is a long-term strategy for earning short-term profits. Conversion rate optimization is a short-term strategy for maintaining long-term profits. Customer-based brand equity is how other people perceive your work. Which brings us to earning the privilege of being able to directly communicate with people that ask to be in touch with us. Alright, I'm thinking in this book we're going to explain SEO, CRO, and CBBE more, but if past me didn't, future me will, or present me. Sorry, who knows. But then if you're watching this later, it's past me again, I guess. Huh. Okay, I gotta stop with that. But then it says email marketing. Set up an email marketing funnel that sells a product or service that is likely to generate you income as quickly as possible. That's the challenge. And it says email marketing can be effective if you determine your audience, segment your contacts database, send the right email at the right time, and nurture your lead into a customer. Email should add value, not ask for it. Optimize for mobile. Responsive templates, bigger is better, clear and concise messaging, and avoid using tiny fonts. Define a clear goal for your email. Personalize where appropriate, focus on engagement, test, and analyze. Delivery rate. Is your email getting through to your contacts? So delivery rate tells you how many people it was delivered to. Open rate tells you the effectiveness of your subject line. This is how many people open it. Click rate. Are people engaging with your emails? This is how many people click on a button in your email. And then it says your email marketing needs to be like the Hotel California. People can check out, but they can never leave unless they unsubscribe or die. Yep. The first thing we are going to do here is simply set up an initial email marketing funnel by creating a series of emails you want people to receive. This can be for booking a service with you or selling a product for direct income. If you are looking to promote indirect income streams, you can also share content such as blog posts or videos. People don't like reading long emails, so only make it as long as it needs to be to get the message across that you want to say. Don't worry about automating yet. Just focus on building the foundation of your email campaign. If you feel you are ready to go ahead and start using it, go ahead. Or you can wait until you are comfortable within the challenge, as you will also be able to apply all of these techniques to your email marketing. You will be prompted to send emails again when we reach the automation portion, and I highly recommend you start your email marketing at that point if you have not begun to do so yet for the full effect of the 60-hour marketing challenge. Until then. Okay, so I was thinking about automation that I didn't explain that, but we'll see how I do there. I'm still wondering if in this book I explain CRO, SEO, and CBBE, because if I didn't, like, I fucked up on this. You know what I'm saying? I can maybe do another one. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. And then it says, letters and postcards. And the challenge is to send or deliver a letter or a postcard to 3 people promoting your current business. And that's to make it personal. In general, theoretically, for your business, there are ways to automate this. But I think, when we're thinking of like networking and building relationships, fucking, this is what I'm thinking, like 3 people in your network who you can reasonably reach out to with that type of letter and postcard that is a type of advertising. Because, and if you can't think of 3 people in your network who you could do that to, then a suggestion would be to cold send it to 3 businesses who you want to put into your network with a message about why they should join your network, right? Um, Maybe because like business, it would be weird to do it to someone's house, so don't do that there. Make sure it's a business address, an actual business address. Because if it's a business to business and you send something like a flyer or something in the mail to another business, that's totally cool. But like, if you're getting random people's fucking house addresses, that's fucking creepy. So don't do that shit. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway, but let me read the damn chapter. My bad. Letters and postcards. I know what I was thinking. Postcards, letters. Really? Yes, really. I thought it was more important to focus on digital, but here's what I didn't realize. Digital marketing and traditional marketing are intertwined. Traditional methods have become produced digitally, and digital methods can be distributed traditionally. Don't know what digital versus traditional means exactly. That should be a question. I can't speak. Don't know what digital versus traditional means exactly? There we go. That's a little better, isn't it? My bad. Fucking digital marketing consists of all electronic advertising. Traditional marketing is basically any form of marketing not on a screen. So letters and postcards are examples of traditional marketing that can be created digitally. Physical mail campaigns serve 2 purposes: notification of an official matter or offer, or remarketing to current or regular customers. Let people know what you are doing that can benefit them right now. Tell them why you are excited. Think of what you can do to make the message personal for them and do that. I feel like I could have better explained the connection here between the personal aspect of having a letter or postcard sent to you. Um, but but instead I explained the technical part of the way it can convert. But what I think I also should have included here would be the way in which connecting with people by sending them personalized messages are going to be more likely for them to feel like they have a relationship with you, and to, when it's time to act on that need, reciprocate the relationship by engaging with you again. So for example, I've been going to see the same dentist and the same orthodontist for a while, and they send me happy birthday messages and things like that, right? And so if I need to go to the dentist or an orthodontist, guess who I'm most likely to go back to? The same fucking dipshits. They're not dipshits. You know what the fuck I mean? I'm sorry I said that they were dipshits, but you know what I meant. Like, right? Um, fucking, but yeah. So aesthetic. I literally like took a sip of my Sprite, and then whenever I was like going to put it down, somehow I was using too much force, and like a drop like flew out of it in my face. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Okay, aesthetic. Do one thing to improve your brand imagery, either in person, digitally, or both. For me, I'm all fucked up, so good luck improving this imagery, but it's not too late for you. Save yourself. I'm just kidding. Um, and then it says, presentation doesn't just matter because perception is reality. Marketing aesthetic is how a company experience makes someone feel about it. The mere endowment exposure theory is the idea that memories are encoded into our brain based on the amount of times we are exposed to an event, the amount of time we are exposed each time, and the impact that exposure has on us. The biggest implication that this has on marketing is the idea that it takes most people interacting with a business 8 times or more sometimes before they actually ever make a purchase. One of the many ways to manage someone's experience with a company is through how they perceive the company. This can be done through learning how to use content that you can control along with the content that you cannot control. 2 types of content are user-generated or branded. This is exactly what it sounds like. User-generated content shows people how others are interacting with you in a personal way made by the people interacting with you. You cannot control this. It is what it is. And once it is out there, it is out there. Branded content is what you can control. If content is branded, it is produced by and with your brand elements. The balance of user-generated content and branded content is an example of customer-based brand equity in action. People are going to think what they think of you. The best you can do is control your own actions. Brand equity just means how much value your brand is considered to have in a market. Customer-based is the idea that markets or people determine how a brand performs. So customer-based brand equity is when the value your brand has is based on how people see you. You know what I'm saying? That's all that customer-based brand equity means. And then it says, so one way to handle these types of variables is through your brand aesthetic. Improving brand aesthetic can be anything that makes you feel better about your brand quality. Some ideas. Can you hire a professional photographer? Do you have graphic design? Are you satisfied with the product or service presentation? How does your website look? Is there something you could do to make a physical location look nicer? Whether you are completely rebranding yourself or just buying a light to make a display look better, there is always something you can do to improve your brand aesthetic. SEO, search engine optimization. The challenge is develop a landing page. Update your Google My Business listing after. And then it says, it is never a bad time to update your Google My Business listing. There is always, so they used to be called Google My Business page. Now I think they just call it Google Business page. You know what I'm saying? And so like things like that, terms will change over time in marketing industry, but it's the same fucking thing. So now I think it's just called Google Business page, but it literally used to be called Google My Business. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, it says there's always something to change. If you don't have one, make one. Search engine optimization is the long-term process of maximizing a web page's potential for showing up in search engines. So it's it's different things that you do. It's a series of things you do over time to improve the performance. So you show up in a higher result when people Google things related to you. And there's different things that impact your SEO, like your page loading time can be one. So sometimes SEO can be doing things to make your website run faster, but also keywords can be one. So sometimes it's copywriting. You know, it can be a number of things related to your website. But yeah, and then it says, what is a landing page? A landing page is a web page dedicated to some type of business conversion. This could be a product page, booking page, download page, or even an email sign-up. The point is to either capture a sale at that moment or to get people's contact information in order to request sales from them later on. If you have your own website already, it can be as simple as adding another page or identifying a page you already have as one. If you do not have a website yet, when you create a Google My Business listing, it's now a Google business page, whatever, you will be able to make a free landing page that is already connected to your Google Ads account. Whether or not you already have a website developed, there are web tools available specifically for creating only landing pages that can be useful depending on your business needs. There are a lot of rules for optimizing a landing page or website, which all have their own exceptions. Full web development is beyond the scope of this book, so we will stick to simply developing landing pages, which you can rinse and repeat and apply to the rest of your website. The main purpose of search engine optimization is controlling where your web page is showing up in search engine result pages. Having any page show up in search results can be good for brand awareness. Getting a landing page to show up in search results is what grows a brand's resources. The landing page can be whatever is available to you that you either want to work on next or will provide you the resources to continue doing what you want to do. Examples of landing pages include Bandcamp pages, online shopping pages, and contact forms. When you are making your landing page, make sure to research tips for optimizing your landing page in a way that is best for you. When you are looking up how to optimize your landing page, keep in mind that every rule does have its exceptions. Here's what I mean. Generally, the only thing you want someone to do on a landing page is buy from you. So, often, companies will take away any other menus or buttons from the landing page, besides the button that is the call to action. If this is a one-time buy, that is a great way to make sure someone does not get distracted from something else on your site and leave the purchase. However, if you're an online store, you might not want to do that. Then you would be limiting your opportunities for upselling or earning a bigger sale. I started to type out suggestions for optimizing landing pages, but every person reading this ebook will need something completely different. So make sure you are looking up the best ways to optimize the specific landing page you are trying to create for yourself. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. And then another thing is like when I was talking about how you could be putting your on websites like on Bandcamp or do online shopping. So sometimes your landing page, you're going to have control of it. And sometimes you might be using other platforms as a landing page that you don't have control of. Say, for example, if you sell your shit on Etsy, right? You can't control shit about Etsy's coding. The only thing you can do with SEO at that point is going to be mostly related to your copywriting, your image quality, the SEO, and things like with keywords and shit like that. So sometimes you're going to be limited with how much you can do for SEO based on where are you trying to sell or get an action taken, right? So yeah, fucking let's keep going. Now we're going to go to CRO, conversion rate optimization. The challenge for this section is implement one thing to capture more conversions in an area of your business that needs improvement. Conversion rate optimization is the short-term process of maximizing an element's potential for conversions. This entire book is about optimizing conversion rates in all aspects of your marketing, so prepare yourself for plenty of experience. So, when a conversion is any action you get someone to take with you that you're trying to get them to take, whether it's an email list sign up or buying, that's a conversion, right? Or if it's clicking somewhere, that's a conversion. So when optimization just means make better or improve. So we're just trying to increase the people who are engaging with you and buying shit from you. You know what I'm saying? So that's all CRO is. So yeah, and then the book says, brainstorming for improving conversions at physical locations. How can you make your customers more comfortable? How can you increase your ability to take on more customers? How can you make each customer interaction more valuable? Questions for digital conversion rate optimization. Is everything someone needs to take an action above the fold on your landing page? And above the fold means they don't have to scroll down to see it. So above the fold content is anything that you can see without having to scroll down. So I put here, in other words, does someone have to scroll? And then it says, do you have visual cues on your landing page to direct the user to the desired action? Are you using contrasting colors for the button you want people to click? As people find your business, you will be able to test what works for you and keep doing the stuff that works. So moving on to keywords. The challenge here is update 3 pages online using the same keyword in each one, and discuss your keyword theme with 3 people to promote your brand. So if you can you don't have to have all of the same keywords on all pages. That's actually bad, but it is good to maintain consistency with your brand and to increase the chances of your brand page ranking, to have a plan where you have a keyword theme and you pick a few keywords that can apply across all of your business pages in order to rank for that concept. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think of something like that, right? And so anyway, it says keywords are the words used to impact SEO and CRO. Keywords can be referred to as long tail or short tail. When you use long tail keywords, you also get found for each short tail keyword found within the long tail keyword. Long tail keywords are phrases. Short tail keywords are 1 or 2 words. So for example, a long tail keyword would be how to make red sweatshirts knitting. Or can you knit a sweatshirt? Is that what that's called? How to knit a red sweater. How to knit a red sweater. I can't speak. Would be a long tail keyword, right? How to do that. And then the short tail keywords would be red sweater, knit sweater, red knit sweater, how to knit sweater. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then it said, I find that 3 or 4 words are usually good to aim for in a keyword. It is much easier to get found for a phrase than a specific word because of niche targeting. Keywords are your chance to show up when someone is looking for you. This can all be summed up by latent semantic indexing. Latent semantic indexing is simply how search engines connect a search query to a result. I actually don't even know if we're still sticking with latent semantic indexing, but I still think it's important to know about because it still does matter and it is still relevant for now. But basically, so by latent semantic indexing, what they're fucking saying is they index based on semantics, meaning or you're arguing your word choice or whatever. But I am forgetting what the fuck latent means. What the fuck does latent mean? I can explain this. Hold up. Not yet developed. Not there yet. All right, not yet. Manifesting. So it's not there. So, so it's about being able to be found for something when someone hasn't Googled it for it, right? So, you have to be able to think of what people search for when they're ready to take an action with you and use that for your keywords. Long tail and short tail can also be used to strategize, because in many cases, you only have limited keywords. You only get 30 Instagram hashtags. When you use hashtag NOLA Deaf Child, you're optimizing for NOLA Deaf Child, NOLA Deaf Child, and each variation in search engines. And, I used to go back and forth about whether or not I should keep the deaf child name. But honestly, because of child exploitation, I kind of think I'm going to keep doing it. So that way, if people are looking for fucking kids, you'd be like, you know what? Fuck you, bitch. Stop exploiting them. Anyway, that's just me. But fucking, I don't know. I have thoughts. I go back and forth about rebranding versus. But every time I think about rebranding, I end up doubling down on like continuing as is. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, but anyway, it says a keyword cannot be too long because most people won't remember it or use it all naturally. Oh, you know what? Criticism about this book. I wish I explained semantic latent indexing more in here. Like, I use a lot of technical terms in here, and I feel like I should either not use those technical terms at all, or if I'm gonna use them, do a better job of explaining them. You know what I mean? Anyway, fucking where was I? I said keywords cannot be too long because people remember it or use it all naturally. Keywords are about natural language. More on that later. There are several strategies for keywords. Be sure to research what is best for you. As we go along, we will continue discussing keyword generation and use. What's the best way to do keyword research? Besides the many keyword tools available to you online that show average performance of terms, there are also organic strategies you can use to generate traffic for any term. Over time, you will learn to balance keywords that people are actively searching for with keywords you want to create traffic for. Let me give you a keyword content outline if you need ideas on what keywords to use. So for branded, we could use company name, use initiatives, use slogan. Inspiration. List inspiration sites, but don't use their actual names for your keywords. Use the keywords they use in their visible metadata. If on desktop, inspect the pages to also take keywords from their code. Competition. Apply the inspiration technique to your competitors' sites to compete with them. Don't use their branded content. Don't use branded content for either. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, search engine results pages. Go look at the top 3 sites of 3 keywords you already know you want to rank for. Rinse and repeat. So yeah, along the way, you will find people talking about optimizing for voice search. Yes, this is important to keep in mind, but it isn't something that needs too much thought. All you need to know about voice search is to think of natural language. Simply use keywords in the same way you communicate with others and you will be fine. But if you're ever overthinking it, just know that people often use voice search when wanting something that is either informational, local, commercial, or transactional. So, where I say it's how search engines connect a search query to a search result, I guess I technically did answer the definition of latent semantic indexing because, you're manifesting a word, so, and then you're indexing based on the word choice manifestation, right? So I guess that is what, like, I feel like I could have done a better job explaining it, but I guess I technically did explain it, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Okay. But anyway, let's keep going. So next we're going to be discussing the importance of metadata. Today's challenge. Change the metadata for 3 elements online to vividly describe the media the metadata is attached to. So, metadata looks different across platforms, but it is essentially the use of keywords and data entry for both front-end and back-end web development. Metadata includes, but is not limited to, alt text for media, image descriptions, page titles, page headers, file names. Metadata is literally used in every media and web page you will ever create. You already use metadata every day without thinking about it to skim and scan for content, find what you are searching for, as well as label information to find later. The more vivid your metadata describes the material, the more accessible your content will be for blind accessibility. And so for me, I'm deaf, low vision, but even I myself don't have the best metadata or do the best job at doing everything because I'm still learning You know what I mean? What does it take to actually describe things well? And then I've produced so much content over 13 years now, almost 14 years now, that it's a struggle for me to then go try and figure out, um, go do the backlog of work that it takes to go correct all of that while trying to keep myself afloat. So lately I've been doing a lot of video production instead, and I feel like in a lot of ways my shit's not fully accessible to anybody in some ways, because my captioner's not always working, my sign sucks ass, and fucking you know, I try to explain things how they look visually, but I don't feel like I do the best job. So sometimes I'm like, nobody gets access. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's not that's a joke. That's not what I'm. That's not how I actually am. That's like how I feel like I can be because I'm so bad at it. But it's a learning journey, right? Um, and it's also like it's easier said than done when you know what should be done, but then finding the time to do it when you're trying to keep yourself afloat. You know what I mean? Life is hard, but it's just about doing what you can going forward, I think. You know? But anyway, so it says not only can metadata make content accessible when you're using it, but also the use of keywords in metadata describes specific content so it can be found. That's where rich data comes in. See, there's a typo here. It says richer. Whoops. So now we're moving into rich data such as JSON-LD. And I've got some other video content on all of this on rich data and a JSON-LD and everything. I will try to link all of that shit in the description of this video. So anyway, rich data such as JSON-LD. The challenge for this section is update the header of your site with a boilerplate JSON-LD script. And it says rich data connects metadata to search queries. Computers only know the information that humans have put in. This means that a computer will know what a search is. A computer will know what you described content as through the metadata, but a computer won't know to connect the two unless you tell it to. That's where rich data comes in. If you already have rich data covered, look for one way to improve your rich data on your site to increase your chances of performing in rich snippets. See, now rich snippets, I mean, they still technically exist, but they're not even really a thing anymore because they're basically getting replaced by the whole AI thing in the search engine result at this time, but whatever. But you know what? I think it can still help you get featured in the AI snippet. So whatever. And then it says sites are hosted on different servers that search engines access via crawlers or bots that create a bridge between searches and sites. This is done through rich data like JavaScript Object Notation Linked Data, JSON-LD, which builds bridges or links relationships between elements. Don't let the fancy name fool you. It's like naming the band a band. All JavaScript Object Notation Linked Data does is link data. So it's JSON-LD. JSON is the type of code it is in. It's in the script, JavaScript. It's in JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. And then linked data. It just links data. It links the search result to the metadata. The search query to the metadata for the search result. That's all it is. So yeah. And then it says the internet is essentially a knowledge graph of different entities. Search engines use entity classes to define the type of link. So, link relationships are properties and entity classes are type. So, yeah, this makes more sense when you look at the code below, which is based off of class properties and class types. When you understand your SEO, you can design your data to represent entities and their properties. The idea is to give computers context to act on human intent using natural language descriptions. This goes back to semiotics, how the different forms of communication are interpreted. So there's a quote from Jane the Virgin in here. Language develops through narration. Code is language. It has its own syntax, grammar, and word order. The goal is to enhance interoperability, or collaboration, between systems, or make it easier for things to work together. As data on the internet has become bigger and bigger, this type of system has become important for managing information with an attempt at sustainability. All of this is what you can get your site found in rich snippets, organic first page placement, and linked to in related searches on search engine results pages. Look up a JavaScript object notation linked data code generator and cross-reference that with schema.org to create boilerplate JSON-LD for your site. If this is your first time using JSON-LD, you will need to apply JSON-LD code to both your header for your general site and the header for the individual page you are working on. If there is code in your header, it applies to all pages, which saves you from having to update each page every time there is a change in your business. This way, you can use the general header code for general site stuff and page code for page-specific material. Because of this, your general header code will be a bit longer than your page-specific code. Just let it be as long or short as it needs to be, and keep developing as you go. Only put content in the code that is on the page. If it is not on the page the code is on, it shouldn't be in the code. It will penalize you in search results if you try to stuff shit into your code that's not on your site, so don't do that. Anyway, it says if you are not experienced in coding, be sure to use a code generator to start and then apply these ideas from there. And you might actually just want to start with only doing the header page and not worrying about the rest of the individual pages if you're not comfortable with it, because it can be just easier to just address it in one section than to have to go worry about where you may need to update JSON on other pages, and track it. But yeah, it says make sure to look through schema.org to find more ideas that apply to you and double check your code before you run any of it with a rich data checker. There will always be page-specific code you can apply. Sometimes code might not apply to you. You could use how to on page code or member of on site code if your page was about how to do something, or if your company was a member of another organization. Those are just examples of how code may or may not apply to you, right? Or you might not want to use the address function if you don't have a brick and mortar location, and maybe stick to the area served instead. Don't freak out. If you can code a MySpace page, you can do this. Just find the information you need to copy paste, then insert your information as needed. And if you didn't do MySpace, that's fine. If I believe in you, fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck it. You've probably used computers, shit. And then it says you don't need to memorize anything if you don't want to. Below are some examples you may consider applying to your boilerplate coding after you use the generators. Use as many or as little keywords as you need. Just make sure you're formatting correctly when you use each snippet of code, or are switching between multiple and single elements. If your code isn't working, here are some things to troubleshoot. Are you using the correct quotation marks? They must be straight, not curly. Are your commas in the correct space? Are you getting brackets and braces confused? Is your opening code and closing code formatted correctly? If you don't want to use a code generator and want to learn how to write JSON-LD yourself, stay in touch if you want to exchange resources. Tip: once you get a base structure of your data entered with a focus on promoting yourself, one way to compete online is to inspect the code of your competitors and use their keywords in your content. As your content becomes better optimized to align with search results for specific keywords, you will be able to then test providing the user experience. Okay, so we want to talk about type, and I want to talk about elements and properties real quick. So, in code, um, each element will be the label of the code. So, for example, the name, the URL, the logo, these are all going to be elements. Each element has its property, which is going to be what you attach to the property. In JSON-LD, if you want to enter only one thing for as a property for an element, then you only put the straight, they're like whatever they're called, like the straight quotation marks or whatever the fuck they're called. So you do like one straight quote, then you do the keywords, and then you do the other straight quote, and then you do a comma. If it's just one concept. If you want to do more than one concept, what you do are use are brackets. And you put a comma in between each property for the element, or rather element for the property. It's kind of confusing for me, but it's fine. Look, I don't do coding, I just do the SEO and the marketing, okay? Anyway, um, it's like, yes, the words matter in terms of the labels have the clear definition, and the reason they exist is so people know what the fuck you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? But on another level, it's like, you don't have to know what you're talking about if you still know what you're doing. Hey. Okay, I'm sorry. Fucking. I'm here to instill confidence in you. So, with these different sections, if you're going to do more than one um, element or property for your property element, then you need to make sure that you have an open bracket, um, and then you do your quotation marks or whatever, and then you have the comma in between them. But on the last one, you don't put your comma at the end of the quotation like you typically do. You close the bracket, and then that last comma goes after that closed bracket. So that matters, or it will return as it's not a result. Now, there's a specific code I put in here, potential action, search action. So this one, you technically want to have, it's technically supposed to be designed to work when you have a search function on your website. I have a search function on my blog. Most websites, though, typically have some sort of search function, but a lot of them don't too. Um, so I still feel technically it may not always work without it, but I still think that it kind of can, because when you're using like Google Chrome, for example, you can click Control F here, and this is a search tool. You can find any word, right, on any page. So no matter what, you always have the capacity to search your web page for different terms and queries. And so even if you don't have even if you don't have a fucking I feel like I am so broken right now. Even if you don't have a search bar on your site, um, you can still use the potential action function, and it will work. In my opinion, it'll help make sure certain keywords are found whenever you're using the control F function or control find function in like Google Chrome, for example, with your site. It can help, in my opinion, because it just basically tells it that's there, because the control F will still be able to read, it's reading the text on the site from that source, right? So where I put, so this would be what I would put in the site header. Whenever I do a page header, I also put the code on each page. I don't repeat things on the specific page that I've already included in the main site header because there's no need to. And because in the main site header, I've already put in certain things, I don't repeat it again here. So what I'm telling you, if you do a page, if you decide only to put it on one page and not on the entire site, then I wouldn't do the page header. I would just do the big, I would just use the big one. But either way, if you know what I mean, like only do this if you want to test coding yourself. For most people, just Google and use a JSON-LD generator. I think that would be your best move. Okie dokie. Moving on, let's talk about user experience. So our challenge with user experience is going to be to do one thing to improve your audience retention with a brand, whether it is digital or physical. So user experience is a person's perspective engaging with a business at every stage of their journey. Ideas for improving user experience. How can you make it easier for people to interact with your business? What is your customer service like? Is there any way you can reduce the amount of time it takes to make a purchase? Digitally, can you use a heat map to see where users leave their experience with you? Physically, are you noticing an area of your business where people seem to drop off? When in doubt, use nostalgia marketing. Find a way to make people feel reminiscent of some past experience they never knew they wanted to have. Think fear of missing out. Usually, when people discuss user experience, they only mean digitally. I don't think we should get locked into thinking about user experience digitally because when you connect the digital to physical, you can provide more types of experiences. The cool thing about user experience digitally is that, like JSON-LD, it also connects search engine optimization to a web page. The difference is that JSON-LD is what happens on the back end, like a stagehand, and user experience is the production, the star. User experience is what determines whether or not a web page is optimized for a search result. And if we are sticking with the performance analogy, this would make core web vitals the measures or criteria the stagehand and star are reviewed by. So, core web vitals. Let's get into that. Optimize the core web vitals of a landing page. That's the challenge for this section. And then it says, prioritize static over dynamic content. Resize any media for a quick loading without loss of quality. Break up or minimize any JavaScript on the site as much as possible. There are three main aspects to core web vitals. Largest contentful paint, first input delay, cumulative layout shift. These are a set of metrics for loading speed, interactivity and responsiveness, and visual stability. Largest contentful paint deals with loading speed. So that's whenever they're basically measuring how long does it take for your shit to load. First input delay monitors a site element's interactivity and responsiveness to users. This is how long does it take for, so with largest contentful paint, it's how long does it take to load visually to where people are seeing things. First input delay is how long does it take to load for people to be able to engage in it. Because you know how sometimes, for example, like if you pull up Facebook, it'll pull up and then you start reading and then it'll refresh automatically on you. And then, you know what I'm saying? So that's an example. Or if you go to a website, and it'll start loading, but it won't be clear yet. And then as it loads, it becomes clear. That's another example. And then cumulative layout shift is the shit, like the shit change because it's loading, you know? These things can impact, you know, the degree to which they occur can impact what are considered core web vitals and impact your ability to rank online. Um, so yeah, did I keep saying first input delay monitors a site's elements, interactivity, and responsiveness to users? Cumulative layout shifts handles visual stability. These three elements together determine how a user experiences your site and how that aligns with your search engine optimization. Dynamic content just means content that shifts the page as it loads, versus static content is already on the page when it loads. So if you have pictures that shift the words on the page as it loads, it may be better for the user experience to place some static content above the dynamic or create some type of placeholder. Have you ever got on Facebook, start looking at something, then the feed reloads and it's gone? Addressing dynamic versus static content is basically how to avoid stuff like that. There is just so much dynamic content on Facebook that when you first open the page, it will have that delay to load it all. In some cases, you cannot avoid this. That is what the page is for. Like if you have a page of videos, there is no reason to add unnecessary static content. Just so you know, there's a difference between dynamic and static content and dynamic versus static pages. You know how every recipe page on a food site looks the same, but the content is different? Or the same with Facebook pages? Those are dynamic pages. Multiple versions of the same format that change based on user-generated results. Static pages are pages that do not change versions, such as a home page. If you ever find that a page isn't loading quickly enough, you may try resizing the media. You don't want file sizes to be too small for the screen it is intended for, or it will lose quality. But if the file is too big, it will take too long to load. So look up the best file size for different platforms and adjust accordingly. When a site has to wait for JavaScript to load on the front end, it can take longer. So if there is any JavaScript on your site that you don't need, consider removing it if you're having any issues with your core web vitals. Next, we're going to look at buyer personas and customer journeys. Our challenge: create a list of buyer personas and their attributes. Then write out what their actions ideally look like along their customer journey with you. A buyer persona is made up character description of a prospect. Their customer journey consists of every interaction they have in a business along their experience as a customer with them. The goal is to niche on your target market so you can make targeted ads for each type of person you expect to buy from you. Then you can put yourself in their shoes as they experience your business. This will help you identify what you are doing right and what you want to do better. Next, building customer personal relationships. Challenge: reach out to 3 people you have done business with. Let them know what you like doing with them and tell them how you are using that in your business now. It takes reaching out to someone 8 times to get them to do business with you on average. Plus, it is 5 times more expensive to attract a new customer as it is to retain an existing one. Customer personal relationship is literally what it sounds like: getting to know the people you are doing business with. Customer personal relationships develop over time through mutual trust. Conversations are always a good way to develop customer personal relationships. By telling people what you like doing with them and how you are using that now, you are showing others the influence they have on you. Letting people know what part they have in your journey and that their input has benefited you actually encourages them to keep interacting with you. Making others feel good about themselves. It's cyclical positivity. Google Tags and Facebook Pixel. Update your Google Tags and Facebook Pixel. I mean, maybe it can be a good idea to make sure, you got all of your events and everything connected every now and then. It's always a good idea to make sure everything's up to date because this shit does change every few years. So yeah. Let's see if I talk about conversion API in here. It says if you do not have Google Tags and Facebook Pixel set up, do that now. If you have done this already, go ahead and check each one to make sure all is updated. These snippets of code respectively track actions taken on websites by users and connect those actions to the user's online activity. Implementing these techniques are actually slightly different depending on what platform you use. So to use the code, just look up how to insert Google Tag or Facebook Pixel into platform you use site. Once your base code is installed, you need to set up tracking for both Google Tags and Facebook Pixel. With Google Tags, you follow the prompts to track specific events at a time. Once this is done, your tags will function with Google Analytics also. Did I talk about setting up Google Analytics in here? If I didn't, you should do that too. Um, and then it says to use your Facebook Pixel after the code is installed, you need to go to business.facebook.com and set up event tracking from there. You will be able to set up all your Pixel events at once. The menu changes pretty often, so I'm not going to tell you the step by step. Look it up or hit me up. Whenever you add a new page to your site, make sure you update your tag on Pixel to track events. So I didn't mention CAPI. So at the time, Pixel and CAPI are, it's used together. You don't when you Google Facebook and Pixel CAPI, you're setting them up together. But now, back when I first wrote this, the better method would be to install like full coding on your site, and to a point you still do that, but also, and doing that can help ensure that specific events get tracked. But now it's as simple as you copy paste the pixel into your web development platforms, and it can start the connection there. It's even easier than it used to be. But yeah. Okay. So let's keep going. Next, we're on custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and customer match. The challenge here, if applicable to you, test ads with a custom audience, lookalike audience, and customer match. If your contact list isn't at that stage yet, implement one strategy to build your contact list instead. So, identify a source of contact collection you have for custom audiences and customer match. If you do not have these numbers yet, consider and implement one strategy to begin building your contact list. If you have at least 10,000 contacts, use a small budget to test an ad for custom audiences on Facebook. If you have at least 50,000 or more contacts, use Google Customer Match to run an ad. And if you have a list of at least 10,000 current customers, run an ad with a lookalike audience on Facebook. Custom audiences or customer match serves a few purposes. 1. Targeting an audience for a niche market. 2. Retargeting people who have interacted with you before. 3. Providing multiple touch points for a customer to take action on. You know what I also wish that I put in here but didn't? If you don't have your contact list to that point, you can also target people the same way based on the actions they're taking with you when the pixel is installed from the URLs and the pages on your website. So for example, if you want to target people who have visited the booking page, you can do that. Then you can target people who visited your calendar page. Then you can retarget people who abandoned checkout. You know what I'm saying? So there are ways you can do that. Even if you don't have the 10,000 contacts, you can still implement these types of things using the pixel and what people are doing on your website, for example. Or you can think about how this can apply to other areas of your social engagement that you can retarget them on. Okay, so did I read the custom audiences or customer match serves a few purposes part? Let me reread that again. So custom audiences or customer match serve a few purposes. 1. Targeting an audience for a niche market. 2. Retargeting people who have interacted with you before. 3. Providing a multiple touch points for a customer to take action on. The main goal of a lookalike audience is to find customers that match your best paying customers. Use your buyer personas / customer journeys to niche down on targeting along with your custom audience, lookalike audience, or customer match lists. Strategies for building your contact list. Have contact list, sign-up lists, or forms at any physical event location. Ask people to sign up after you have their purchase. Request sign-ups on social media. Optimize a social media form online. Moving on. Facebook ads. Run a Facebook ad to retarget people that have visited a page using the pixel. Facebook ads generate, that's the challenge. Facebook ads generate both an immediate and long-term return on ad spend that are cyclical. Without a pixel or retargeting, Facebook ads serve as brand awareness, which generates traffic for you to continue reaching out to. Then, using the pixel or retargeting with audiences, you may use call to actions and conversion rate optimization in order to generate direct sales. Facebook also offers lead ads, which can be used to grow your email list, offer coupons and promotions, learn more about your customers, start conversations. Lead ads perform well because Facebook automatically fills out as much of the form as possible from their profile. Do they still do lead ads? I haven't tried one in a minute. Anyway, it says there are 5 forms of ad content and you should use all of them. Image and video are self-explanatory, of course. Most people know what a carousel is, but if you don't, it is simply up to 10 images that you can swipe. Instant experiences are images that when you click on them open up for an immersive ad experience. You can use templates if you don't know where to start. Collections are like instant experiences and carousels had a baby. People are very used to scrolling by images and videos these days. So if you're looking for a way to stand out, be sure to test your Facebook content formats. I feel like in this book I have a section in here on the return on ad spend portion. So I also feel like I should have probably mentioned in here, you have to be doing the budget and the math and the numbers involved with running these ads also to get a good result as well. So I kind of wish I did some more explaining up front on that part within the Facebook ads portion and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But life is hard. All right, next section. Google / Microsoft ads. Our challenge here. Set up an ad with extensions and conversion tracking on Google. Then import into Microsoft / Bing. If you have not used Google Ads before, it will make you run a smart campaign the first time around. I'll do it, then pause it. Why? Or it used to. I don't know if I haven't. It might still do that, but I have been using the same, so I don't know. But it might still. Let's see. You're not going to get a good return on ad spend if you cannot control the targeting of the audience or the specific keywords. Now, there are ways to profitably and sustainably use smart campaigns. It can just be more difficult to control the ad spend on a smart campaign versus a search campaign where you have more manual control over that. But I don't want to deter anyone from trying it if they have the ad budget to do so. Risk it if you want to, it can be worth it sometimes, but just be aware and monitor it and make sure you cap the fuck out of your budget. I said cap, C-A-P. Anyway. It says you're not going to get a good return on ad spend if you can't control the targeting of your audience or specific keywords. You will need to switch to advanced setup in the settings after getting through the initial bullshit it makes you do. Then make sure to set up a search campaign and uncheck show in display network. By only showing up for searches, you will have ads showing up for terms people are looking for instead of people accidentally finding you and not knowing how they got you. That's my strategy for, starting out, right? Yeah. I feel like this could be updated, done better. Anyway, it says set a low budget. Only use phrase or exact match keywords. Now, on one level, the way phrase and exact match keywords are changing because even if you put phrase or exact match instead of broad match for the keyword in the Google ad platform, it will still run it broadly. But on another level, when people are using the phrase or exact match in their searches, you will still be more likely to show up over someone who isn't trying to bid for that specific phrase or exact match, in my opinion. I think it still has merit and still has value. Um, but anyway, so broad, phrase, and exact match are three ways of using Google search and running ads that have been done previously, where broad is when you just put the regular keyword like men's tennis shoes, or you would just type just like this, men's tennis shoes, right? And then phrase is when you put men's tennis shoes in quotations, and it's going to give you the phrase where so you know what I mean. And the reason being, what where the difference between so that way it's like if someone's just googling tennis shoes, you wouldn't pop up. But if someone's googling how to where to find men's tennis shoes or men's tennis shoes near me, you would pop up. But if you're afraid an exact match, which is when you're in brackets, I believe, um when you exact match, my bad, when you this is how you type it in the back end on the Google ad platform. What is when you only show up if someone only Googles men's tennis shoes, not where to find men's tennis shoes, none of that. So it just controls how you get found. That used to be more relevant. Now, the way the algorithm works is starting to drift from being held to that limitation there, but I think it still can influence the direction of the search result, in my opinion. Um, yeah, so, but previously it really did matter before, and so I had written, by only showing up for searches, you will have ads showing up for terms people are looking for instead of people accidentally finding you and not knowing how they got to you. Set a low budget. Only use phrase or exact match keywords. You may use a phrase match with a broad modifier, but broad matches are a waste of money. Create a Microsoft Bing ad account after Google. Import your shit into Microsoft from Google with no additional data entry, just a few clicks of a button. And so next, let's talk about digital ad funnels. The challenge here is to use buyers' personas and customer journeys to create a digital ad funnel and set it up. So here's a funnel that works for me. I know you're at various stages in your journey, so take what works and leave what doesn't. 1. Create a landing page for either product, should be product page to buy product, or service, if service should capture contact info to reach out and book them for awareness stage or for remarketing stage, may send directly to calendar page. 2. Set up a Google search ad to the landing page. Be very specific with your targeting. Keep your keywords, headlines, and descriptions niche as fuck. 3. A/B test everything and keep adjusting. 4. If you set it up right, you can spend maybe $5 to $20 a day for 1 to 3 leads a day until you can afford more ad spend. 5. If you are spending a lot of money on clicks with no conversions, it's because your ad isn't targeted enough. So you niche and narrow and make sure it isn't broad. Yeah, that's typically true when it comes to Google. I guess at this point I've only discussed Google, so I haven't discussed Facebook. Yeah, for Google that is true. For Facebook that would be a little bit different. Anyway, I apologize. We're going to keep going. 6. You got this. As time passes, you will find parameters unique to you that you want to segment. For example, location targeting when your attention is to only target by walk-ins. Only target to your zip code or radius that's within walkable distance to you. Um, so here, like I wish I also like, so I just use Microsoft Google as an example and one that worked for me. And I'm like, here's one that works. I also wish that I explained more about digital funnels and top of funnel, middle funnel awareness. And I've done that in other content since then. I'll try to remember to link that in the description below. I haven't done that yet. We'll need to do that. But fucking, so for like Facebook, if you're getting a lot of clicks with no conversions, it's not because your ad isn't targeted enough or people wouldn't be clicking. That point, the issue would be on your landing page. But if it's with Google, um, if you're getting a certain amount of clicks to your landing page, then it might be the landing page issue, because obviously if you have a good conversion rate on the ad, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes people will be clicking because your URL would show up for a search result, but then it's not what they wanted from that search result. And so then you have a bounce rate because they left because they didn't get what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I should have factored in here, look at the bounce rate first. If your clicks with no conversions, and I guess you could consider, page engagement time a conversion, but if you're getting clicks and you have a very high bounce rate, meaning people are immediately leaving your page, then you want to go fix the ad. But if you're getting clicks and people are spending time on your page, but they're not buying, then it's the landing page. You know what I'm saying? So the numbers tell you what to do. You just make sure you're looking at your analytics. The numbers will tell you what to do at every stage. Alrighty. Now moving on, it goes into lead magnets. The challenge here: take content you already have produced and use it as a lead magnet. And I said, identify what material you have available to you for lead magnets, whether you already have content to use or need to develop. Then come up with a plan to utilize this lead magnet for incentivizing someone to take action. After that, do at least one thing towards achieving this goal. A lead magnet is something of value you can offer someone in order to demonstrate the value they could receive by continuing to do business with you. Lead magnet ideas that you might already have: digital copies of old art, eBooks, one-sheets, articles, limited time offer of free consultations. If in person, maybe some type of free merchandise or sticker. If digital, find a way to frame a social media post you want to promote as a free resource and link to that. I mean, your social media content though is free resources, so I'm not saying find a way to do it just to look like you're doing it. I'm saying find a way to actually fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? By the way. Moving on. Call to action. And then our challenge here: update at least 3 platforms with a call to action. Narrow down a specific call to action you can promote that will let people know exactly what it is you're trying to get them to do. A call to action is a group of keywords that succinctly motivate someone to act by telling them what to do. Think of one thing that you're trying to get people to do right now that will help your business. Sharing your call to action in at least 3 places will provide more opportunities for people to see and engage with that call to action. If you get stuck on wording, as always, look it up or hit me up. And then copywriting versus creative writing is next. Our challenge here: adjust the copy on a landing page by using impulse factors to encourage action. Think of one way to creatively engage an audience with words and do it. The primary difference between copywriting and creative writing is that copywriting focuses on completing tasks, while creative writing is intended for a reader. When you're engaging in copywriting, your goal is to inform people about how to take an action with a business. Creative writing shows people what their journey could look like as a result of taking action with a business. When you address impulse factors, fear of loss, indifference, greed, Jones effect, urgency, suggestive language, you encourage people to take action using a combination of copywriting and creative writing. More on impulse factors later. Automations. Automate an email marketing campaign is our next challenge. An automation is the use of computers to automatically do something that a human would otherwise have to do. Email marketing platforms and websites provide many forms of automating your email marketing systems. Whether you are setting up one email to be sent when something happens or an entire series, it counts. Automation can be as easy or complicated as you need it to be. Automation can be as simple as setting up your contact list to automatically receive an email when they sign up, or developing automated email chains based on time or action. Integrations. The challenge. Use an integration to simplify customer relationship management between platforms or people. Integrations connect automations between different platforms that would not otherwise be able to go together. Integrations work like an adapter. An integration to you might look like something small, such as having emails with specific content forwarded to someone else. Or integrations could be standard routine, such as connecting your contact form to your email marketing system. And integrations can even deal with bigger projects, such as connecting almost anything to anything. If you think I am kidding, look up, I don't know how to say this, if it's Zapier or Zapier. I was always saying Zapier because the first place I worked at that used it, they were fucking saying it like Zapier. Then I worked somewhere else and they were saying Zapier. So I literally have no fucking clue if it's Zapier or Zapier. Who gives a shit? Doesn't matter. But whatever. But that's a tool. So here, I really do wish I told people don't fucking do integrations just to do integrations, okay? Integrations are a tool, they're helpful, but you don't need to do them just to do them. Then it's just doing shit for no goddamn reason, you know what I mean? So maybe I should have fucking put that in here too. But didn't I also say to take what works for you and leave what doesn't? I don't know. But whatever. So yeah, like an integration that I've used before is I had my website, which has my customer relationship management information there and all of my contacts there. But then for a time, I was trying HubSpot. I was using HubSpot to communicate with my team. And I integrated my contacts to sync between HubSpot and my site. So that's an integration, for example. But also, if you set up Facebook Pixel or Google Tags, those are integrations. If you did Google Analytics, that's an integration. You know what I mean? So you may have already been doing the integrations you need and you don't need to do another one. It's just about acknowledging and reflecting on your integrations and thinking about when are they useful, and don't do them just to do them. These are things I should have been saying. All right, moving on. Page 46, customer service. Our challenge, draw a picture of what a healthy marketing and sales pipeline looks like for your business. The customer journey does not end after purchase. Customer service can be the most important part of marketing because, again, it is much more expensive to acquire a new customer than it is to keep an existing one happy. Look back on your previous planning. Think about what happens at every stage of the buyer's journey between marketing and sales. What would this process ideally look like? What does this process actually look like? What can you do to reconcile these two ideas? Basic sales or donor acquisition. Our challenge. Find one way to implement the turn and burn technique in your marketing. More information. Basic sales or donor acquisition is simply getting someone to become a financial supporter. Easier said than done. Physically, for basic sales and donor acquisition, as it ties into marketing, there are pop-ups or brick-and-mortar locations. Digitally, you can use social commerce and landing pages. If you have products to sell, social commerce is simply using social media to allow customers to purchase from you directly through those platforms. The turn and burn technique can be applied physically or digitally. The method is considered part of the introduction of a conversation. It is a way to get someone from the introduction step to the short story of a conversation. The idea is that once you have developed a little customer personal relationship with someone, you capture their attention. Tell them to follow you so you can show them something, then turn around and take them somewhere else without looking back. In the field, the most common way this is done is by saying, "Hey, quick question." It works. They often stop at this point. That is the first step, getting them to stop and pay attention. Then you ask if they know about the project you are working on. Whether or not they say yes, you can use their response to lead them into some version of, "Well, let me show you what we are doing today." After that, you use your body language or tone or digital design to motion where you are bringing their attention to. Move on to the next step with or without them. If they come with you, great. You are ready to get into your conversation. If not, fuck them. If you do not have a customer personal relationship and are trying to develop that as you turn and burn, you may have some luck with this by saying, "By the way, my name is X. What's yours?" after you get them to stop with the quick question. If you are not in the field, try using this online. And so, here's an example. And I used to be one of those assholes that would stand outside fucking Petco and try and convince you to donate to Habitat for Humanity. And this is what the fuck we'd be doing. So say my chair right here is my booth. We got my booth. This is where I'm trying to get you to give me your fucking money. And I got some pamphlets here and shit. So say there's like some dick fuck walking down the street over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to them. I'm going to be like, "Hey, sir, how you doing today? Hi, my name is Lexi. Can I come get you to check something out real quick?" They're going to be like, "Yeah, whatever." Ideally, I would be better articulating clearly in an actual sentence, but you guys know me and know I can't fucking speak straight. But when a stranger sees me talking like that, they're gonna probably be like, "Nah, I'm good," and run away. So if I was actually in the field, I would probably try and take my time and articulate better to them. But right now I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. I don't actually think this is a good pitch. But I'm just getting you to think about how you can use this strategy because it does work. Like, why do people keep standing outside for no fucking reason? You know what I mean? Like, it works. And so when you dress nice, like some men, when I turn around, they're gonna follow me because they want to look at my ass. Like, let's just be real. Like, if you dress nice, people will follow you, right? And some people, they're gonna follow you because they're gonna be like, "Oh, you know what, this bitch, that's a pretty dress, she looks well together, that's a good presentation, let's go." They look professional, so some people, they're gonna think you actually look professional. Some people will like your personality. It just depends. But the idea is, if you can get someone to follow you, they're more likely to stay with you and convert. If you get someone to put in a little bit of effort with you, still be more likely to complete the transaction or conversation or task because they already spent X amount of time and they don't want it to be for nothing necessarily. However, the trick there is, once they decide they're spending their time for nothing, they're going to get the fuck out. If they feel like you're wasting your time, they're going to leave. Or if they get distracted, they're going to fucking leave. You know what I mean? And so you have to get them to spend enough time with you to where they feel like they want to finish their time with you, but don't have them spend too much time with you to where they feel like they're wasting time. You know what I'm saying? You got to balance that. Anyway, um, fucking and online, how you can use this also is say you're in a live stream, you've got 100 people in your live stream. That never happens for me on YouTube. I'm just being hypothetical. Say you actually did though, and 10 of those 100 people were actually talking to you in your comments in the chat, and so those are the 10 people I would focus on engaging, right? Because those are the ones who are spending time with you. And so with those 10 people, I would see if I can get one of them to join me on another platform, join my email list, join my loyalty program. You know what I'm saying? And when you join my loyalty program, you get points to get rewards for showing up for lives and for live stream events. And then you get discounts in my store if you ever decide you want to buy something. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I use turn and burn in my marketing with my loyalty program, for example, between, get how I get people to get into my site, and then I get their data, and then I can remarket to them anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this. It's in front of you. Think about it. Okay, let's think about one more concept, and then we will, I think we're gonna do this in two parts. Okay, one more. So public communication. Our challenge here is to write a pitch that could be used either for landing page copy or to start a conversation about your business, something you can deliver in 1 minute or less. So, communicating about your business publicly is the foundation of developing public relations. You will always be developing your pitch, and different versions of your pitch apply to different scenarios. You will not always be giving the same pitch to the same people because not everyone is going to act on the same things. But having a really strong base pitch that you cater to different people is how you can develop your own system for being prepared to publicly communicate about your business. Having a pitch is important until you become comfortable enough to wing it because it gives you confidence in your ability to discuss your projects. Confidence is simply trusting in the words you are expressing. If you already know what you want to say, you will be ready to shine versus feeling like a deer in the headlights during tech week of a play, looking at the stage manager like, line. That's for my theater nerds. I was one. Anyway, but yeah, so by that I mean, like, for a deaf child, for example, not everybody gets it because they're like, you're doing too much. What the fuck do you mean? You're talking about deaf issues, you're talking about music, you're talking about marketing. None of that is connected. And so for me, I'll be like, yeah, my slogan is cutting through the noise. I discuss deaf awareness in the music industry with a focus on helping artists and musicians market themselves and other people grow their business. That makes more sense. How do I do that? Do you want more information? For sure. I can run ads for you. I do copywriting. I do graphic design. I'm not the best photographer or videographer, content producer, but I can assist with that coordination for you and help you with that content development. You know what I'm saying? Like, so then from there we get to then like, and then each person is going to want to have a different type of conversation with you, right? Some people, when I talk to them, they know a million times more than I ever will about the subjects of marketing, and they're coming to me because they need extra hands. It's not that, I mean, yeah, they care about my thoughts and my mind, but it's not that like they don't know what the fuck to do. It's just that they need another person on the team to make sure it's getting done, right? And so with those people, when I have that conversation, I'm going to be sticking more to the technicalities. But then other people, they don't know what the fuck is happening. They don't know what shit about fuck. They're like, how do I do any of this? Those are the people who I have to try not to be so technical, because if I'm sitting here just like, yeah, and then we're gonna do some rich data, JSON-LD, and don't forget your keyword optimization. They're like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, yeah. So for them, it's better to say, okay, let's come up with a strategy for the words you want people to use when they find your business. So like with different people, you're gonna be needing a different pitch for them. Um, and they're going to have different expectations from what they want out of you. So it's also another thing with your pitch is being able to match your pitch to your audience and having done your research on that too. And that's why the buyer persona is so important. So yeah, um, so from here on out, let's just, recap what we've been reading so far with the 60-hour marketing challenge before we wrap up a little bit. So we got through page 49, I believe. We got, yeah, all the way done with public communication. And so we're going to pick up on field marketing on page 50 next time. And so what we talked about today, we went over direct versus indirect marketing. We've discussed email marketing, letters and postcards, brand aesthetics, search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization. We talked about keywords, the importance of metadata, rich data, user experience, core web vitals, buyer personas and customer journeys, building customer personal relationship, Google tags and Facebook pixel, custom audiences, lookalike audiences, customer match, Facebook ads, Google and Microsoft ads. We talked about the conversion API also when it comes to Facebook. We've talked about digital ad funnels a little bit. I feel like, and again, there's a lot to criticize with what I wrote in 2021. I could have done a lot better of a job explaining a lot of things in here, but at the same time, it's just what I had processed at that point. A lot of the things that I could have done a better job explaining, I didn't process until later anyway. And so this is just showing me where I can update this information. Um, so we've talked about digital ad funnels, lead magnets, call to actions, copywriting versus creative writing. We've discussed automations, integrations, customer service, basic sales and donor acquisition, as well as public communication. And so we're going to pick up on field marketing on page 50 next time. Um, and so, yeah, and also my JavaScript object notation linked data examples, those code examples are in here as well that we went over. And I just realized that I didn't say at the time, I don't think I processed to say at the time that we were reading that I did not actually read the actual code itself because that would be boring as fuck. So I skipped that. I just talked about it. Um, but yeah, fucking so with the 60-hour marketing challenge, it was my first ebook that I've ever written for myself that I didn't ghostwrite for somebody else. And so there was a lot that could be better about it. But I'm also really glad that I did do it because it was literally just me trying to put out anything that had ever actually helped me at that point. And I think it is very useful because where if for people who are just starting off in their marketing journey and in their learning journey in business, I feel like even if I could have done a much better job with a lot of it, it still gives you the starting point you need to you start Googling that shit, you're gonna get where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So yeah, like just concluding what we've talked about today, just gonna be wrapping up now. We started off with a bit of a recap and a review of the whole Raylee Casze situation, just because I felt like I had come, like, I wasn't, like, I was thinking I'd be done talking about this a long time ago when I was talking about the trend forecasting and the outrage cycle, being like, yeah, this shit's gonna be over with, is what I'd been saying for a while. But then I kept covering it because other people were speaking out and I was covering what they had to say because I was so fascinated with this case, with the way it fucked my mind, the way I thought one thing at the beginning and all this other stuff came out. Um, And so, yeah. And so I ended up covering a lot. And then because I had covered so much, I decided I wanted to process those stories. Like, because I had been covering all of these people's different stories in between each other, I wanted to just look at each story on its own for a second as well. And so I did that in two different replays. And then I got some messages from the owner of Casze, and I also did some coverage on that. And then Raylee Casse spoke out again, and so of course covered that again. And so then today I was just like, well, all this stuff has been happening, but every time it happens, I haven't been providing like a recap of it all. So I attempted to kind of provide a recap today to the best of my ability ish. And fucking also, we then began part one. I was thinking maybe I could do the whole thing today, but that I should have known better with how long it typically takes me to read things. So I should have, but yeah, so we did part one, live reading of the 60-hour marketing challenge ebook that I wrote in 2021. And I just wanted to see like how well did it age and give myself like a performance evaluation, you know? And I'm thinking like 3 out of 5 stars for me, you know, like because I think it gives you a lot of good shit, and you're gonna like it's definitely still worth reading in my opinion, because for those of you who haven't considered this information in this way, it's gonna help people who didn't know um, figure out how to get to a better place in their marketing, in my opinion. But there's just a lot more I could have explained and didn't explain. So a lot of the things, I think I did some more explanation with the finances that need to be taken account with the ads. And so definitely make sure we're checking out part two for that, because that's coming up. I believe I covered that more um, coming up in the next part, you know? So things like that. Like there's just like a lot I could have explained better, but I'm proud of what I put out for where I was mentally at that time too. Because at that time I was really struggling with my mental health, really struggling with sense of community, and things like that. And I had I was still trying to get away from people that were supporting my rapist. You know what I mean? And so I was in a really bad spot mentally. I didn't have a strong network of buyers or friends or support system. And so, yeah, being able to produce the book at that time when I was in that phase of my mind, I'm still very proud of it. And so thank you for, sticking it out with me and watching my rereading. Thank you for being here. I will be doing part two of this live reading of 60-Hour Marketing Challenge eventually. I don't know. It might be my next live. There might be lives in between. We'll see what happens. But yeah, fucking I said lives, not lives. Anyway, yeah. All right. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. If you want to go ahead and read the full ebook before I finish, getting this out, or if you just want to have that digital copy for yourself in your own place, you can either get it on my website in my store or join my contact list to get it for free. So yeah, check those places out. That's where it is currently. Thank you so much for joining me. I just realized also I didn't do a single I can't fucking forget it. I'm like the worst at this shit. I need to do a better job at this. So, this ad is brought to you today by Monkey Monkey Coffee in New Orleans. As well as from Ink by Casse Tattoo near Houston, Texas. So yeah, if you're in New Orleans or if you're in Texas, please check out Monkey Monkey Coffee, as well as Ink by Casse Tattoo, also known as the V-Hole, the V-Hole Studio. I said the V-Hole, not vehicle. V, V, Hole. 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 I tried. All right. Anyway, okay, I'm really done with this bitch. I feel like I'm failing at life today. I'm either really sorry for how this went, or you're welcome, whichever you prefer. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.